We are early tonight. Did you see all that? Andy started the countdown 30 seconds a little early. I mean, sometimes we're late. I would say most days we're like a minute or two late, but today we're early. I think this is the second time that we've been early. And I also want to say thank you to everyone who watched my marathon of content on Friday. I filled in for Vince, did the radio show, obviously had my show at 6 p.m. Eastern time. So thank you to everyone who tuned in and said nice things. I really appreciate it. And the support meant a lot. So thank you for being there for me on Friday. And thank you for being here tonight. Everyone in the chat, all my homies, I know you got your dinner ready. You're joining from all over the nation. I love to see it. If you want to join them, you have to do it on Rumble. Rumble.com/Haley is the only place you can watch Nightly Scroll. So make sure to do that. Hit the subscribe button on the Bongino Report channel so that you never miss a show. And of course, if you want to watch later on, you can do that or on your favorite podcast platform. Everything helps. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Leave 5 stars. Leave a review. Say something nice. It all helps. So I appreciate all of it. Let's get into tonight's show, shall we? Welcome to Nightly Scroll. I'm Haley Karania. If you've never been here before, welcome. Just some breaking news quickly off the top. Attorney General Pam Bondi is set to launch a grand jury investigation into the Russia hoax to secure a potential indictment. And according to a DOJ spokesperson, Bondi is taking the referrals from DNI Tulsi Gabbard, quote, very seriously. You know, as she should. I will say, could you imagine the pressure of being on that jury? First of all, let's hope that they find a jury that's not woke and out of their minds biased.
For sure,
but in
outside
this
of
day and age,
DC.
it is so difficult to find people who are not biased. I mean, how can you find a jury that isn't biased? I mean, everyone, for the most part, voted in that election, right? So it's going to be very hard to find people. But plus, anyone that they do secure for that jury is going to have to put out a statement. I am very happy. I do not want to kill myself. They just like, if they're coming for Hillary Clinton, everyone's got to be on their toes and make sure that they put out their statements that they have no thoughts, no suicidal thoughts. They love their families. They're not leaving this earth anytime soon. But certainly excited to hear that update there. What else do I have on the show tonight? The craziness of 2020 is over. Cancel culture is officially canceled. American Eagle put out a decisive end to the controversy. It's not really controversy surrounding their advertising campaign with Hollywood it girl Sydney Sweeney. There are a few updates to the story. So I am finishing what I started. However, this will likely be the very last time that I talk about it because we are beating a dead horse, which I will get into. Then a Democrat in Rhode Island is under fire for his anti-ICE language as attacks on those agents are up more than 830% since this time last year. Absolutely a shame. Plus, Matt Walsh tweeted about therapy this morning, suggesting that it doesn't work and it only creates problems. It doesn't fix them. I'm going to argue that it does work, but you have to find an actual professional therapist and not an activist. So good luck if you're in California. Plus, I've got a tinfoil hat time segment tonight. Normally, I wait until the end of the week, but it's Monday and I had all of this alien and UFO content pushed to my For You page. So let's just get into it early, shall we? Put your phones on Do Not Disturb. This episode of Nightly Scroll starts right now. Okay, I know how we all feel about the Sydney Sweeney American Eagle. I know we're all over it. I am also over the story. But my hatred for cancel culture trumps everything, and I have to tip my hat to American Eagle, who stood by Sydney Sweeney in the wake of all of the liberal tears and the allegations of eugenics and fascism and all the other liberal buzzwords that they're obsessed with these days. My show on Friday was very serious. I had an interview with a woman who is vaccine injured, so I didn't want to cover that and then do a hard turn to American Eagle and stuff. So this is why I'm covering it today, and then hopefully we'll be done with it. But American Eagle stands by their ad. This is the statement that they put out on Instagram. Sydney Sweeney has great genes. Is and always will be about the genes, her story. Will continue to celebrate how everyone wears their AE jeans with confidence their way. Great genes look good on everyone. So they didn't even mention fascism. They didn't even mention fascism, Nazism, eugenics, like none of that even came up. They just doubled down on the ad that they put out, which obviously had nothing to do with fascism and all that stuff. That's just where the liberals took it. So this is an ultimate FU to cancel culture, in my opinion. I'm going to say it again. I've said it. This is like, I should trademark it at this point. Cancel culture is officially canceled. Listen, this advertising campaign, it worked. Sales were up 15%. Their jeans sold out. Everybody, and I mean everybody, the president included, which we're going to get to in just a moment, we're talking about Sydney Sweeney and her jeans. So for all intents and purposes, this advertisement campaign was a complete success. These are like two terms that come up a lot in the marketing world. All press is good press and sex sells. These are not antiquated because this Sydney Sweeney advertising campaign just proves that both of these are still true. And they still work. All press is good press, meaning all the liberals bitching and moaning about Sydney Sweeney looking hot in her jeans just fueled more conversation. It got more people excited about American Eagle. It got them to go to the stores and buy the jeans and sell them out, and the stock price boosted, right? So all press, good press, and of course, sex still sells. Even though the ugly liberals will probably tell you that it shouldn't, it does. If you put a beautiful Hollywood it girl in your jeans, she's going to sell it, right? Especially if she's kind of selling her body at the same time, in that she looks gorgeous, she has curves, she's not fat, she's not woke, she's all the things that the left hates because she's gorgeous, she's normal, she's successful, she works. You know, these are obviously things that get liberals pissed off, so obviously it works. Proven success. Insecure, jealous women hate gorgeous women, and insecure, jealous liberal women have to make it about politics, which of course they did. And everyone has speculated about Sydney Sweeney's political allegiances. You know, you might remember back in 2020, I don't know when this was. Maybe it was like 2023 when all this went down. But Sydney Sweeney's family had a party and it was like someone's birthday. And I think they were wearing red hats that said, "Make birthdays great again," or "Make 60 great again." It was someone's 60th birthday. And so they're all wearing red. They're not even MAGA hats, but in the style of MAGA hats. And then other members of the Sweeney family were wearing thin blue line shirts. She posts these pictures on social media. Her brother posts pictures on social media, and everyone's all up in arms, right? Oh my gosh, Sydney Sweeney has to denounce her family, and she didn't. She didn't apologize for the MAGA hats. She didn't apologize for the thin blue line shirts. She just said, you know, this is ridiculous. So now Sydney Sweeney has been, I'm using the term outed. She's been outed as a Republican. So people were looking up her voter registration history, and apparently she registered as a Republican voter in 2024 in Florida. This was she bought a house in Monroe County, which is the southernmost county in Florida. She bought this palatial estate in the Florida Keys, which, you know, she bought with all this money because she's so successful and hot. This is what happens. She's successful. She makes a lot of money. They want to put her in more shows. She accepts these deals. She sells the soap. She sells the jeans. She's making a lot of money. Very deserving. I'm very happy for her. So now that her Republican voter registration was outed, more videos of her circulated online about her shooting guns, fixing cars. Now everyone's talking about, oh my gosh, you know, they're putting the puzzle pieces together that Sydney Sweeney is conservative, which is all great. She seems cool as hell. But in my opinion, Republicans have taken this to a level it did not need to go. We are beating a dead horse. We are being annoying now. For example, I am seeing memes and jokes about Sydney Sweeney running for president. Obviously, this is a joke, right? Memes of Sydney Sweeney running for president with Barron Trump as her running mate, or vice versa. Barron Trump running for president in 2044 and Sydney Sweeney being his running mate. Then I saw AI pictures of Sydney Sweeney and Barron Trump saying that they're going to get married. Barron Trump's going to be the president of the United States and Sydney Sweeney's going to be his wife. Just like weird stuff, okay? Like, stop it. You're being weird. You're making this weird. If I am Sydney Sweeney or her PR representative and I'm catching wind that Republican influencers are grifting grifting off of this, I would be weirded out because they're taking it to a weird place. Not to mention, she has never, ever said that she voted for Trump. She has never come out and said, I am MAGA. So people are trying to turn her into this like MAGA spokeswoman when all she did was pose for a jeans ad and look hot. And maybe voted for Trump. We don't know. She registered as Republican in 2024. So, okay, we could put two and two together and probably assume. But Republicans are just taking this a step further even. So Rob Schmidt from Newsmax posted this on X saying, we got to get Sydney Sweeney to the White House. And I'm friends with Rob, but like, why do we need to get Sydney Sweeney to the White House? For what? And everyone was replying to his tweet saying, yeah, like let's get her to the White House. It'll make the libs mad. Okay, like triggering the libs is funny, but that can't be the purpose of what we do. This triggering the libs has to be a side effect of what we do. We have to move with purpose. We've got the House, we've got the Senate, we've got the White House. Like, let's do shit that matters, not just bring hot actresses to the White House to piss liberals off. You know, we need Republicans in Congress and in the White House to do stuff that matters and not just virtue signal. You know, she's not a political activist. She's not going to be the next MAGA influencer grifter. She's not going to headline at the Republican National Convention. We just need to leave her alone, in my opinion. But a reporter asked President Trump about it, and I don't blame the reporter. This story is like a cockroach that cannot be killed. So you obviously want to talk about something that's happening in the news, and you want to get the president to weigh in on it. And here's what President Trump said. Watch.
Actress Sydney Sweeney, it came out this weekend that she was a registered Republican. Any thoughts on that?
That who was?
Sydney Sweeney. She's like a very hot actress right now.
She's a registered Republican?
Yes.
Oh, now I love her ad. Is that right? Is Sydney Sweeney? You'd be surprised at how many people are Republicans. That's what I wouldn't have known, but I'm glad you told me that. If Sydney Sweeney is a registered Republican, I think her ad is fantastic. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, we've been listening.
Listen, I love President Trump. I think it's great that he likes the ad. We all love the ad, right? But now we're putting a target on Sydney Sweeney's back in a way that will probably turn her away from doing anything. She's not going to want to touch Republicans with a 10-foot pole because she might lose work in her industry. Anyway, President Trump then posted this on Truth Social. If you could pull this up, he was talking, taking another dig at Taylor Swift, saying Sydney Sweeney is hot and Taylor Swift is not. And then he was talking about Jaguar and how their CEO recently stepped down because if you remember, last year Jaguar did this horrible woke weird rebrand with like pink and yellow and gay people or whatever. I mean, it just had nothing to do with cars or anything. So it was a really weird brand move. But he's essentially saying, I'm not going to read this whole thing, but essentially he's saying that when you go woke, you go broke, which is totally true. And at this point in our society, we have made somewhat of a comeback since the woke 2020 days, and companies have realized that they need to course correct if they want to make money. So this is the last thing I will say about Sydney Sweeney and American Eagle. I know we're happy. I know we're excited. I know it's cool to have like the cool it girl choose to sit at our table. When the next celebrity does something not woke, let's just act like it's normal. We have to, if we talk about this return to normalcy, we can't freak out every time someone does something Republican. Like, we should act like we've been here before. Like, yeah, celebrities are normal. They are Republican. They are cool.
How much of it do you think,
I can't hear you at all, by the way.
You can't hear
what
me?
you're saying.
Okay.
No.
You got me now?
Andy's talking to me. I can't hear you. I can hear you now.
The comments. That's what keeps it perpetuated, not necessary.
Well, this is okay. So, and if you couldn't hear Andy, he said how much of this is Republicans defending Sydney Sweeney. And it was Republicans defending Sydney Sweeney. That's where I covered this last week, where it was like the left is going absolutely insane. They're ripping her and calling her a fascist when she's obviously not. They're calling the ad eugenics when it's obviously not. So everyone came to her defense. But now people are taking it to a spot where they don't. Like, Sydney Sweeney needs to come to the White House. Sydney Sweeney needs to run for president. Like, she's not going to be our MAGA spokesperson. So we just need to let her be a celebrity that is Republican. You should be allowed to be a Republican and be quiet about it. I'm not saying that it was Republicans that docked Sydney Sweeney's voting record, but Republicans have been like foaming at the mouth over it all weekend, and it's weird. Let her be a Republican voter without being a Republican mouthpiece. Not everyone has to be loud. Not everyone works in conservative media. Not everyone has a job where being conservative is a benefit. It could be a hindrance, and Sydney Sweeney is certainly one of those people. She works in Hollywood. Being openly conservative in that world is a risk. She is at the top of her career right now. She was in Euphoria. She was in White Lotus. She was in the romantic comedy Anyone But You. She starred in all of these things. What does she have on the docket? She's in the new movie Americana. She's playing boxer Christy Martin in the movie Christy. She put on like 30 pounds for that role. So she's going into these very serious roles. She's in The Housemaid that's coming up. All these movies and shows are coming out in 2025. Like, she is at the top of her career. We don't want to ruin that for her. You know, she's being chosen for this American Eagle ad, the Dr. Squatch ads. She's seizing on this moment to make a name for herself and to make money, as she should. Being an outspoken Republican or even just open about it could be a hindrance for her. And we all know that celebrity endorsements don't work and the American people don't care. So we don't need Sydney Sweeney to go to the White House. We don't need her to make a statement. We just need to act normal and allow her to be a quiet conservative in Hollywood who continues to get work. Because if we turn her into this right-wing figurehead, we will lose her influence in Hollywood. No one will book her anymore. Despite her ads doing well, liberals are vindictive losers. So let's not ruin this girl's budding career because we couldn't keep it in our pants. Plus, nobody should be shocked that a white, blonde, hot girl is a Republican. We are normal. We are hot. We're skinny. Like, we're normal. This is, yeah. She, as Justin just said, walking out of the room, she doesn't have a dick. She doesn't. This is what we love about Republican women. I can't hear you.
Still.
So whatever you have going on, you need to fix. Nobody should be shocked that she is Republican. Yes, it is unusual for Hollywood, people in Hollywood to be conservative, but I think it's way more common than we think. And if we act like freaks of nature, none of them are going to come out anymore. So if we want to keep these people at the cool kids table, if we want to keep up the cool kids act, we have to act cool and drop it. And that's the last thing that I'm going to say about Sydney Sweeney, unless she, like, I don't know, levitates or does something crazy. I'm done talking about it, and I think we should all be done talking about it. Okay. Boll & Branch, brand new sponsor that I'm very excited to talk to you about tonight. You know those common myths we all hear, like cold weather causes colds, or we only use 10% of our brains. Here's one more, thread count. Many people think that a higher thread count means better sheets, fancier sheets, but it's really just a measure of fabric density. And when it comes to sheets, what actually matters is the quality of the thread itself. That's where Boll & Branch comes in. Their sheets have changed the game for my sleep. They are crafted with premium organic cotton, making them feel so soft and luxurious. Plus, they're built to last. And the best part, they only get softer after every wash. It's not about how many threads there are. It's about how they make you feel. If you're after sheets that offer both luxury and durability, Boll & Branch is the way to go. Trust me, you'll never look at your bed the same way again. Feel the difference with extraordinary night's sleep and what that can do for you with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/scroll. That is Boll & Branch, BOLLAND branch.com/scroll to save 15% off and unlock free shipping. Exclusions apply. Visit bollandbranch.com for details. I also want to tell you about our friends at Blackout Coffee. You know that when you get up in the morning, you want things to be convenient. You want to get ready fast without sacrificing quality. You already know how much I love blackout coffee, but if you're like me and you need that caffeine fix fast in the morning, their coffee pods are a total game changer. These aren't your average grocery store pods. Blackout pods are packed with fresh, roasted, bold coffee made right here in Florida, and they work with single-serve pod brewers. So yeah, fast, easy, and actually delicious. I start my mornings with blackout coffee. You should too. I love all the flavors. Plus, these single-serve pods make it so much easier. No more bitter, stale junk. Just pop in one of these pods and boom, strong, smooth cup of coffee in just seconds. So whether you're racing out the door, juggling kids, or jumping into back-to-back calls, this is your new morning lifesaver. And the best part is that they ship nationwide. So no matter where you live, you can have Florida fresh coffee at your door in just days. Head to blackoutcoffee.com/scroll or use code SCROLL at checkout for 20% off your first order. Alrighty, we have to talk about Democrat policies and how they're absolutely ruining some of the once greatest cities in this nation. I want to talk about Boston first and then New York City, where I used to live. I have a very special place in my heart in New York City, but these liberal policies are just absolutely ruining them. So let's start with Boston. Locals, even Democrats, are upset with the mayor, Michelle Wu. So here's the headline out of the Daily Mail. Boston's glitziest neighborhood now overrun with drug addicts after Dem mayor gave addicts free crack pipes. I mean, this stuff, for people who have common sense, we would tell you this. It wouldn't work. We would tell you. But I don't know why Democrats, they just do things like this that, I don't know, they don't even sound good on paper. They're just stupid. So locals are absolutely infuriated. And they are blaming Mayor Michelle Wu, who launched an initiative back in 2022 to hand out free crack pipes, free syringes, and other drug paraphernalia to addicts on the street in 2022. I mean, now we're 3 years later. You can only imagine what the streets of Boston look like now. For 3 years, they've essentially enabled addicts to stay on the streets and keep doing drugs. So here's an Instagram account that came up on my feed, and it is called South End SOS. So this is the South End of Boston. It's got 20,000 followers, and all they do is post pictures of homeless people laying on stoops, drug addicts, people stealing things. There's a homeless person sleeping under that car, on park benches. Like, they're just documenting how in this one area of Boston, it has become just uninhabitable for regular people, citizens who don't want to step over drug addicts in the streets. So President Trump is taking action on homelessness and druggies. He signed an executive order last week to pull funding from cities that incentivize criminal behavior, starting with New York City. So by executive order, President Trump announced that federal funding for housing and social services would no longer go to failed programs that facilitate the use of illegal drugs and permit mentally ill people to roam the streets and subways. So hopefully, starting with New York City, I think this was maybe an attack on Zohran Mamdani and the popularity that is growing there in New York City for him and these progressive liberals. I think this is something that needs to be a larger issue. This is not just New York City. It is not just Boston. We already know about all the syringes that are on the grounds and liberal cities like San Francisco. Like, this is not just one or two cities where this is happening in. And he is saying, essentially, President Trump in this executive order is saying that if you claim that you care about homeless people and providing care for them, but that care is actually exacerbating the problem, that is not care. Yes, giving drug addicts clean syringes may keep people from getting HIV and other diseases or things like that, but it doesn't help residents who will keep having to step over drug addicts on the street. It's not going to prevent drug addicts. It's going to incentivize them to keep going. And a great example of this is when I was living in New York City, Mayor Bill de Blasio decriminalized public urination. And what that says to homeless people is you can piss on the street. You can piss on the subway. And then everyone else who lives there has to live in this piss-smelling shithole. Excuse my language, but like anyone who lives in New York or has visited New York in the summer, especially in the summer months, if you go down into the subway, it's like, ooh, like this wall of like urine smell just hits your face, and it's like, ooh, and it's hot because it's hot down there. Like, oh my gosh. But I understand that you can't just, these people don't have a house. They don't have somewhere to go to the bathroom. I get it. Like throwing them in jail, I understand that, you might want to decriminalize this behavior so that, what are you going to do? Throw someone in jail? They don't have somewhere to go to the bathroom. But you have to de-incentivize it. You can't incentivize it because now the people who live in this city, they don't want to live there anymore. Exhibit A. I don't want to live in New York City anymore because it's disgusting. Like the policies have just contributed to this environment that nobody wants to live in anymore. So I give President Trump a lot of credit for passing this executive or signing this executive order to basically say all this federal funding that we're giving these cities to care for these people is not even going to care for them. So unless you want to use that funding to do some good and to get these people off the street and give them housing and get them care, medical care that is much needed, and mental health care for that matter. If you're not going to use the funding for that, then screw off. So I totally agree with him on this. And, another liberal, we're talking about New York, but Zohran Mamdani, he won the Democratic primary for the mayoral race there. This crazy self-proclaimed Democratic socialist, he is now backtracking on his defund the police comments. He is stepping away. So we don't need an investigation. This is what he wrote on X in 2020. We don't need an investigation to know that the NYPD is racist, anti-queer, and a major threat to public safety. What we need is to hashtag defund the NYPD. He also wrote this: there is no negotiating with an institution this wicked and corrupt. Referencing the NYPD, he said defund it, dismantle it, end the cycle of violence. So now he's distancing himself from these posts because he's getting slammed for it, and they're getting resurfaced because he's running for office. And New Yorkers know that when you defund the police, bad stuff happens. So now people are asking him, especially like groups like Republican groups and Republican candidates are saying, what are you going to do about this? And he was asked if he regretted those statements. And he said these statements were made amidst a frustration that many New Yorkers held at the murder of George Floyd. He then went on to say that these posts were made, quote, clearly out of step with his current view of policing and his campaign platform. So just years ago, he thought that sending social workers, let's say, to a domestic violence issue in New York City was the way to go. And now all of a sudden he doesn't. Do not believe him for 5 seconds. He did not change his position. He is trying to squirm his way out of defending the comments that he made because he knows that they're unpopular. They might have been popular in 2020, but now that people saw the effects of defund the police movements, it's not popular anymore. So when he says that he has changed his mind, don't believe him. And then also makes you wonder if he would change his mind and flip-flop on something as important as policing in a major city. What else is he going to flip-flop on? He's spineless, and he's a self-proclaimed democratic socialist. So when he says defund the police and, send social workers instead of police, I would be inclined to think that that's more aligned with where he stands. And when he says, oh no, I didn't really mean that, oh, I was just frustrated, I don't believe that for 5 seconds. So also another liberal that is just this is mind-boggling to me that Democrats, they get into office, they incite violence, and they have the audacity to do so when they say, it's just so hypocritical. They talk about January 6th and how President Trump was inciting violence when he wasn't, but they blame, they say that, words are violence and all these things, and then they go and do it, and then it's fine. It's just like Total hypocritical thing. So this is a Rhode Island state representative, Enrique something. What's his name? Enrique Sanchez. So Enrique Sanchez is a state representative in Rhode Island, and he said, "It will soon be the day that I confront these Nazi ICE thugs in person for terrorizing our communities. It will be a day of reckoning and no going back. I hope the people of Providence and Rhode Island have our back. They will try to end our work and put down our struggle." Literally saying, it will be soon the day I confront these Nazi ICE thugs in person. He's basically saying, I'm coming for you. I'm going to, like, what is it? I'm coming for you in person. What does that mean?
Is that a threat?
It's a threat. It's totally a threat. And this comes, by the way, as attacks on ICE agents are up more than 830% from this time last year. It was months ago at the LA riots, they were up like 400%. And then after that, it's just doubled, more than doubled. Again, Democrats claim to care about, words and inciting violence, and then they don't. We've seen this with Maxine Waters and Nancy Pelosi and all these leftists, especially in 2020, like get in their faces. And if you see someone from Trump's cabinet, like go and confront them. Like, what are you talking about? We have to be able to talk to people on the other side of the aisle and not want to punch them in the face. We might maybe feel angry, but we need to be adults and express ourselves in a professional manner. You can't just tell people like, hey, get up there and yell at this person or I'm going to confront these Nazi thugs. Like, what is that? You're in office. You're an elected official. You better start acting like it. Be professional and, be the change you wish to see in the world. If you think that words are violence, then okay, then you better shape up because you're inciting violence. Anyway, just totally insane. This all comes, by the way, as a new poll came out by AP Norc. And they were asking voters if they could, they asked to, name the first word or phrase that comes to mind about Democrats and Republicans. And they asked Democrats and Republicans about their own parties. So 23% of Democrats, only 23%, could say something positive about their party, which I thought was interesting. And then 41% of Republicans had something good to say about the GOP. But the words that came to mind first to Democrats, about Democrats, were weak, ineffective, corrupt, and dishonest, which is very telling that they are now waking up to the fact that, yes, they are weak. They have no leaders. They stand for nothing. They're spineless. They are ineffective. They're pushing policies that don't matter. Kamala Harris freaking ran for president on nothing but vibes and, coconut trees and brat summer. And they are corrupt. We see this with Russia hoax and Russian disinformation and the Hunter Biden laptop and literally everything, COVID, everything. They are dishonest. So that's very telling to see that, we're 1 year away from the midterms and the Democrats don't feel very positively about their own party. The words that came to mind when Republicans were asked about Republicans were corrupt, greedy, and just generally negative. But more Democrats had negative things to say about their party than Democrats. But interesting that only 41% of Republicans had something good to say about the GOP. And I'm wondering, especially with just all of these polls, who are they polling? I've never even heard of someone that I know be polled for something like this. And I mean, you're telling me that 41% of Republicans had something good to say about the GOP? That's just not consistent with polling and how Republicans feel about President Trump. He's polling very well. And 41%, that's not a lot. You're telling me that 60% of Republicans don't like what's going on? I mean, what do you see that President Trump is doing that you don't like?
That don't make sense.
Yeah, this to me is huh? I don't know. And like I said, I don't know who they're polling, but Any Republicans that I speak to in my personal life love what President Trump is doing on the border. They trust him when it comes to the tariffs. They trust him when it comes to the economy. They trust him on the world stage. They like what he's doing. All the executive orders, just returning to normalcy, taking down this woke trans stuff. I mean, most Republicans I talk to, at least, are happy. I'm assuming everyone in the chat, most people in the chat like President Trump and what he's doing. I think a lot of people might be maybe disillusioned and disappointed with the Epstein stuff. But I think for the most part, Republicans are happy. And, people we can't trust the polls these days. We can't trust the polls. Okay. I want to get into Matt Walsh and what he said about therapy earlier today. This might be controversial, but I wanted to get into it. This is what he posted on X earlier. He said this: if therapy in general really works, then why are depression and anxiety rates at historic highs while therapy is more popular than ever? Shouldn't all this therapy be improving our mental health? It's almost like therapy drives the problem instead of solving it. And he's arguing that more people are in therapy than ever, and more people are anxious than ever, therefore therapy doesn't work. But I think it's because more people are being diagnosed. Matt went on in other posts to say that people who suffered from childhood trauma should just get over it, and going to therapy and rehashing it makes it worse. I can tell you from personal experience that is not true. I went to therapy. I've been to many therapists before, and I can certainly tell you that I wouldn't be here hosting this show today if I didn't go to therapy. I used to be a very anxious person, so therapy definitely does work. And also, what does getting over it look like? Is that just people suppressing their feelings? Is it finding unhealthy coping mechanisms like drinking or smoking? I can't tell you the amount of times I've talked to friends and family members who are definitely anxious about something. And I have suggested, well, maybe you should talk to a therapist about it. And they say, oh no, I'll just talk to my friends about it. Or oh, I'll just complain to this person about it. Or I like to have wine. I'll just drink a glass of wine and I'll feel better. For the most part, people don't go to therapy and then get anxious. People are anxious and then they go to therapy for help, and therapy isn't a quick fix. I would argue that therapy doesn't make people anxious, but more people these days are anxious and they're seeking help more than ever before, resulting in more diagnoses. The problem isn't therapy or people who seek therapy. It is our demonic society. People are not going to church. They have lost their faith. Americans are totally obsessed with work, mostly because they have to work to make ends meet, not because they find any joy in it. The food we eat makes us sick. We doom scroll for hours on our phones. We're exposed to more bad news now than ever before in history. No one's getting good sleep. Our cortisol levels are spiking for many reasons. Our environment is toxic and full of endocrine disruptors that impact us whether we feel it or not, or we're conscious of it or not. Most people live a sedentary lifestyle. COVID brought people away from each other rather than towards each other. We were doing Zoom school, people FaceTime instead of actually meeting with people face to face. All of these things mixed together are causing us to have a very anxious population, regardless of going through something traumatic. It's not just people who've suffered from something traumatic. I mean, all of these things mixed together can make people feel unwell. And I want to preface this by saying I really, really like Matt Walsh. I think he's wicked smart. I have seen his documentaries, What is a Woman and Am I Racist? I actually went to the premiere of Am I Racist in Nashville. It was incredible. The entire theater is cracking up. What he does is amazing. He does amazing work. And I actually would love to have him come on the show. Maybe we can reach out to him because I think it would be cool to have this conversation and have a debate in real time. So I'm going to look into that. But his view of therapists is likely shaped by woke morons that he has interviewed. Because in What is a Woman and in Am I Racist, he goes and interviews these people who are experts in their woke fields. They are the people who go to school for gender studies and they become an expert, whatever the hell that means, right? So these crazed leftist therapists that he interviews, I think that's what he thinks therapy is. And those people certainly exist. They prey on insecure people with a victim mentality who never came to therapy to get better in the first place. They wanted a diagnosis to flaunt, and they wanted medication. They are not therapists. They are activists who affirm patients' delusions, and they should absolutely lose their licenses. If you've never been to therapy yourself and you think that all therapy is woke, then of course you have this viewpoint, but that's not true. Having someone as influential as Matt Walsh push out this narrative that you are a weak loser if you go to therapy is just not helpful, in my opinion, at all. That's my take. Can you speak now or no?
Yeah, you got me now?
Can people hear Andy when he speaks? I
Check
think you
1,
can.
2. I think they can. I think people can hear me.
It wasn't working before, but hopefully.
Yeah, I know. We did. We had to do some surgery, but I think that we're back. Initially, you read that and it's such a almost like a shock. Like, don't pay attention to these professionals. Don't. So I had that nudge that you do too. But I do think a lot of things. Take your shoes off, get away from everything that's a piece of electrical equipment, and get in the woods.
Totally.
I mean, solitude and peace and quiet, and at some point in time, you have to sort of wrestle with oneness. You have to get, I don't want to say get over it is what he means, but there's a peace that can come from quietness. That we have maybe distance. As a kid, I was in the woods all the time and down at the river all the time. Where'd my parents? I was down there so much. And I think maybe it might be becoming more of a little bit more of a lost art, and the seeing someone is the answer. It can be a answer. Yeah. But definitely solitude and getting your feet on the ground and getting out and what God created. It's an important thing too.
Totally. And you have to go, if you do go to therapy, which I think can be for everyone, you don't have to go through something crazy or horrible or traumatic to benefit from it. Even after I was kind of healed from what I went through, I still went because it makes you so self-aware. You know exactly how you're going to react in certain situations. It makes you kind of step back and approach things differently, maybe more professionally or more appropriately, or just I don't know. Sometimes I just think it's helpful. You don't have to go through something, traumatic to benefit from it. But to your point about getting outside, people have hobbies that I think are therapy in a way, and it brings you peace. And I think, COVID just pulled people away from that. The internet pulls people away from that. Social media and comparing yourself constantly to other people pulls you away from that. I struggle with my skin, for example, is a huge insecurity of mine. And seeing myself in this screen right now, it's it makes you think about these things. It's not good. And my job is to put videos out, and I have to look at it and be confronted with my insecurities every day. That's hard, So when you're on social media and you see mean comments or you see videos, it's just, it's hard. And I think these are the things that bring us way closer to struggle and hurt and these demonic distractions in our world. And I think the closer, the more people who go to church, the more people who go outside and move your bodies, and we will be a happier society. So, whether you go to therapy or not, I'm just defending therapy because I think there's this stigma that you're a fat weirdo liberal with green hair and you're on SSRIs and all this stuff if you go to therapy, and you're not. I think that we do need to tell people, especially men, especially older people who they grew up with this mentality, pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all this stuff, which I was raised like that too. But I'm also very grateful that I went to therapy because I'm a very healed, self-aware person. And I said it before, I would not be sitting here if I didn't go. I would be so nervous to do this. So it can definitely be beneficial. That's really all I wanted to say on that. Because, with someone who has the influence of Matt Walsh, it's let's not say that we're all crazy. Let's not say it's an important message, I think.
Yeah, one little sub point on that is I think too, everything you said is absolutely true. Being able to go to someone who has studied and in depth understands maybe what how to peel the onion
Yeah.
so that you can layer it is great. One thing I was talking to my daughter about this weekend was fringe friends. And I think like in a social media world, we can think that we have really more connections than we do when we only really need a couple of friends to share life with.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I mean, the Bible talks about iron sharpening iron. And those couple of friends in your life, you don't need 900, you don't need 4 million followers on Twitter. If the Lord gives you 3 friends,
that's all
you're
need.
blessed. And to be able to share things with them, that is an extremely large thing that has to do with our mental health. And I hope as social media ticks down the road, we don't lose sight of having a true, the definition of what a true friend is.
And if you need help, seek help. That's all I'm going to say. It's not, you're not a loser. You're not weak. You're still a man. You're still masculine. Like, if you need help, get help. That's all I'm saying. Okay. I'm going to ask the chat because we've got 15 minutes left. I'm only going to have time for one: tinfoil hat time or scrolling time. So I'm going to let the chat decide. Do you want me to go down the rabbit hole or do you want me to do scrolling time? Let's go. Let's see what the chat says. Tinfoil. Tinfoil. Scrolling tinfoil. It's tinfoil. I don't know where my hat is. Hold on. Guy's going to get me my hat. I forget. Oh, no. I forget it every time. Someone said, what about tinfoil scrolling time? Well, that's kind of what tinfoil hat time.
I mean, that's the point.
I almost dropped it. Thank you, Guy, for for bringing this to me. Okay, so tinfoil hat time, and it really is tinfoil scrolling time because I scroll and I see things about aliens and UFOs and things like that. So it really is both. So let's get into it. The first one, is this the one that Will Kane posted on X earlier today?
No, this isn't the one that this isn't the one that Will Kane posted, but I've seen this one too.
Okay, so
the one that Will Kane posted was from a telescope, which is really cool. So like maybe we can screen cap it if it's not in there,
or we could save it for the next one. But okay, this first one is a flying thing with tentacles. I don't know. Let's look at it.
What the fuck is that in the sky?
Okay, so it's gonna zoom in here, and you're gonna see that this is like,
What the fuck?
it kind of looks like bait, like fishing bait a little bit, but much bigger.
I'm just saying.
All right, hold on. I'm gonna run that back. Hold on.
Okay, Andy's gonna make this bigger for everyone. We're gonna go back. Yeah, what? Okay, so it kind of, like, if you've ever seen Harry Potter, like, this is like a Dementor. That's what it looks like to me, but orange. People in the chat are saying it's trash. It is a drone, which it certainly can be. A drone with streamers on it. I don't know what this is, but I don't think that it's anything extraterrestrial. I think there's a reason for this, a scientific reason for this. Someone said it's an octopus. It's a flying octopus. Someone in the chat or someone in the comments said it was a flying spaghetti monster. But this also reminds me of those things that they put outside of the car wash or the car dealership, and they're like,
oh, and the dancing things when they blow. Like, this is weird just because, like, this is pretty large. This isn't like a napkin flying around.
No, it's
like
large.
This is pretty large.
Someone said it's a plastic bag. No, that thing has tentacles on it. Someone said a flying squid. It's a kite. It's AI.
That was Justin. Producer Justin said, in all of his wisdom, it's a kite.
Someone said it's a white privileged Dementor. It's kind of orange. I don't know. It looks like it's on fire. But I don't know. What do you think, Andy? You think it's trash? You think it's a drone?
Oh, I'm always going to say it's aliens.
Okay. All right.
I mean, do I have any proof? No. Do I need it? No.
No.
Absolutely not.
That's the best part about conspiracy theories. You don't need any evidence. You just need vibes. You just need to believe.
I hate to agree with Justin on anything, but it does look like a kite.
Yeah, I think there's a scientific explanation for this.
Or is it a Chinese balloon? Who knows?
Yeah, it kind of looks like something like that. Okay, this next one, this guy is in Tennessee, and Andy, you'll like this one. I think he works in a band. He is performing somewhere in Tennessee, and some weird noises came over some of their frequencies, radio frequencies. So let's listen to this.
So last night we were rehearsing, and the creepiest noise came on through the amplifiers, which it's not uncommon to have like noise, like a radio station, static, or some kind of interference. But I've never heard anything like this. Listen to this.
So we're sitting at here at rehearsal. This is coming through.
Something tells me this guy has something to do with it.
I don't know. Let me know. Anyone else in Middle Tennessee have some weird kind of interference static?
That, if you've ever seen Stranger Things, that sounds like the Demogorgon. Like whenever the Demogorgon is near, that's what
totally
it sounds
does.
like. So that's, part of me thinks, okay, this is a prank. Like someone played that noise over there. But I don't know if that's possible. But
So you definitely do get a lot of impedance in amplifiers like that because
everyone in the chat they are team aliens, Tennessee aliens. It's aliens, definitely alien sounds.
these are my people. These are my roots.
It. Someone said it's a spaceship communicating. Predator, aliens are real. They cross the border. Ha,
So that could be what is making the noise. That's the Demogorgon.
Yep.
But like impedance on an amplifier it has sort of like a white noise, like a zzz kind of thing.
That was not that.
That produced multiple tones and it repeated, so that like you could actually kind of sort of play the way that it was doing on a keyboard. That was weird.
Someone in the chat is saying feedback from the amp, but I don't think
that's
not what that sounds like.
That is not feedback from the amp. Feedback deals with sustain and it goes away, and feedback swells. So it either swells down or it swells up, depending on how close the amplifier is, the speaker is, the amplifier. Ugh. Like, this is weird.
So the first video, I would say not aliens. That's my vote. This one, aliens.
What are they saying? What are they saying?
Who's they in the chat?
No, they, as in
what are
through
the
the speaker.
Saying?
What are they saying?
I don't know.
Maybe his band sucks.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe his band's good. His band's good. Come on.
Stop playing this music.
Yeah.
We're interrupting. Excuse this interruption. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Play Sweet Home Alabama.
Yeah, they're making suggestions. Okay, this next one is weird looking strobe lights in the sky in Pleasanton, California. And this, I don't know. I think that this is strobe lights, but I'll let you all decide in the chat. It is blinking, like that could
this is
be
not AI.
A huge UFO.
In case anybody's wondering.
Behind that cloud. I don't know. I saw something on TikTok about the military hiding aircrafts in clouds, and I have no idea if that's true or not, but it seems like something they would do and not tell us about. So I don't know, but it did seem like, I think this could be easily debunked. This could be strobe lights from on the ground going up into the clouds and blinking at a certain time. Like, I don't think that this is actually, well, I would like, it's fun to think this is a UFO, but I think that it could be something else. Like, it's not clear UFO footage where I could say without a shadow of a doubt it's a UFO, but it is interesting to look at. Someone said airport lights. How close to an airport? Spotlights from the ground. Yeah, this does kind of remind me. When I was living in New York City on 9/11, every year they shoot these lights, these like spotlights up into the sky as a tribute, like the tribute lights. That's like kind of what it looks like. They are blinking like back and forth in a way, but it certainly could be from an event with strobe lights, a concert, a high school football game, literally anything. So I'm not convinced on this, but
this one's skeptical to me. I'm not either.
I'm not convinced. But this next one, and I like this next one because, well, should I spoil it or no?
Well, maybe watch it first, can we?
Let's watch it and then we'll get into it.
There's a UFO in the tree, I swear.
No. Did you see it?
Yeah, I know.
There's a full...
On the cloud.
Yes.
I know.
And then it just disappeared.
I know.
What?
Dad, I've never seen anything like this.
I looked and I could see the full...
I think we're making like a scientific discovery.
What in the world?
I'm weirded out.
What? Did you
No! I did.
You did?
What? Dad, is this just us?
I don't know.
What's going on?
I know.
See those two helicopters? You can see them. See the two dots on my phone?
Yeah.
Those are both helicopters flying towards what you were talking about.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Look.
See?
He's coming right for it.
Right for it.
Okay, what's lighting up right there?
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
Yeah.
I have it.
Yeah, something was lighting up. See that little illuminated spot?
In the cloud.
Yes. Yeah,
That's
right
it.
there. Focus on that.
That's where they're going.
Yeah, that's it.
That's right where the helicopters are passing
There's
through.
a big round thing hovering right there.
Why is it glowing? It's on my phone.
Yeah.
Look at it getting bigger.
What?
I'm sketched out.
Maggie.
Dad!
Oh gosh.
No, it's the Illuminati.
Look,
I swear.
No, my gosh.
Illuminati. Don't say it.
It's the moon.
Holy. It's the moon. Holy shit.
Debunked in real time.
We had fun for a second, didn't we?
I think it's so funny that they're literally looking at lightning and the moon and they're like, holy shit, is this just us seeing this? It's like, no, everyone's seeing this.
So we have something for you on the screen cap here. This is what Will Kane hit on his show today because multiple people saw this in Dallas.
Okay, let's see this one.
So this is through a telescope.
A massive squid-shaped UFO was seen hovering over the skies in Dallas, Texas. This reminds me of the first video that we played. It looks like it's
sort of the same.
Is this video slowed down? Like, is it in slow motion or?
I think it was viewed through a telescope is what I read, I thought. And so this
viewed
to me
through a telescope, so then how are they filming it?
Well,
like a camera?
Can you record that? Somebody in the chat would know that.
I don't know.
If they have a
I can't record my eyeballs, but
no, you can actually use the device
I guess you could put your camera up to the
That's insane
telescope.
Though. That's insane. Explain that. What is that?
I don't know. It looks like a fish or something. Like it looks like it should be in the ocean. That's really weird.
And they said it didn't make any noise.
No noise. It's totally green. It's like a green blob with kind of like a trail behind it. People in the chat have some unsavory predictions that I'm not going to repeat. But someone said, is it the green from camera light reflecting? Maybe. Again, with the unsavory predictions. Come on, guys. I can't read these on the show. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
It's creepy.
It could. I mean, it's too far up in the sky at that point, that video, because when they zoom out, I think it's way too far up in the sky to be a drone or anything that's ours. Like, that would have to be the military, like an aircraft of some sort, or a UFO. And
drones have the blinking lights, the aviation lights, and that didn't really have that.
No blinking lights. It's
like this reminds me of the
neon.
Arizona, the Phoenix lights that was like, crazy back in the 90s in Phoenix. And like multiple people, thousands and thousands of people saw this all over that region.
Where was this?
Dallas.
This was over Dallas.
Yeah, so a bunch of people saw this in Dallas. So I don't know.
That's really odd. I don't know about that one. Like the first one, I could tell you that I'm pretty positive it's a drone or something. But that one, I don't know. It doesn't look like. It looks like, those torpedo pool toys? That's what it looks like, but huge and flying across the sky.
And holding still and making no noise.
Yeah, I don't know.
And lighting up.
That is just not something that I can debunk on my own. And it's not, I mean, I'm just not convinced either way. I am stumped by that one.
It's pretty creepy. We'll see how that unfolds
My
because it ain't
tinfoil
going
hat is
anywhere for a
staying
while.
on. My tinfoil hat stays on. I don't know. Okay, well, on that note, we don't know what's out there, and they could be coming for us. Everyone just stay awake. Awake, not woke.
Disclosure.
We don't know what's coming. Alrighty. Thank you for scrolling along with me. If you want to follow me on social media for more content in between the shows, you could do that at Haley Carania on most platforms. I'm on Instagram, I'm on TikTok, I'm on X and Truth Social. And if you want to watch the show, you got to do it on Rumble. Anyone who's listening, I encourage you to watch on Rumble because that's where you can see all these UFOs. If you're just listening in the car, you can't see the UFOs. So if you listen on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, that's fine. But if you want to see what we're talking about, you should do it on Rumble. Rumble.com/Haley. Just follow the Bongino Report channel. And I will see you right back here tomorrow.